Okay, YouTube, this is what we're going to do today. We have a Challenger 1.5 horsepower pump and motor, and if you can see down there, hopefully you can see that, it is leaking water. And we are going to change out the shaft seal and bearing seals on this pump today. Not a fun job, but with the drought we're in and the water, all the water that is leaking, not good. So we're going to fix that up. Okay, here are some of the tools that you will need to complete this project. A motivational tool, a flat-bladed screwdriver, a pair of pliers, a ratchet with a 14mm socket, some pool and spa gasket lube, and I use earplugs. I give them to my minor children for when I mess up and let the words fly. I don't want them to hear it. Just kidding. Okay, well, first thing you do when you work on a pool or a pump or of any kind, or electric equipment of any kind, is you need to turn off the power. Now that turns off the timers and the power to the timers, but we're not done. We have one more place we got to shut the power off, and that's at the breaker. Okay, so here we are in the house. Find your breaker box, find your breakers that are associated with the pool, turn them off. We don't want anything associated with the pool to be powered in any way. We want to do it, if we're going to do it, we want to do it safely. Okay, so here we are. We're going to take the pump motor off of the pump. So we know we've double checked and make sure all our power is off and the breakers are off, and we're ready to take the pump off. So the first thing we do is remove the grounding strap. Take that out so we can get it out of our way, and then we undo the band clamp that holds the pump motor to the pump. This takes just a minute. Sorry for this, I should have this done before I started filming. So we got the clamp off. And what we want to do is take the motor and pull the motor straight back. So we're going to pull the motor straight back. We're going to get a little water going here. And there's our diffuser and impellers behind that. So what we'll be doing now is taking off the electrical and then taking the pump to the bench. Okay, the first thing we want to do is remove this diffuser. There's a gasket that we'll be replacing here. We'll be taking off these screws and taking off the diffuser to take a look at the impeller. It's real important that you inspect all the gasket channels as well as the diffuser for cracks or wear spots. And then we'll be also checking the impeller inside to make sure that all the parts aren't cracked or broken or need to be replaced. Okay, we got the rings, we got the screws taken off of the diffuser. And note the orientation of the diffuser. You have 3 bolts to the top of the motor. Top of the motor has that little flange right there. And so when you pull this off, there's the diffuser and then there's a little ring behind it. So let's pull that off. And you can see that this impeller is pretty much plugged up with debris. Lack of maintenance on my part, my bad. Okay, it's important to note that you have, before you take the impeller off, you have a bolt in there which is reverse thread. And so you actually have to go clockwise to loosen it instead of counterclockwise. So, and the shaft spins freely. So one thing that can help you is on the back of the motor, the shaft, there is a That's the back of the shaft. There's a slot for a flat bladed screwdriver or a regular screwdriver. Or you can actually put a wrench on that to hold it still while you're trying to get it undone. So I'm going to take the impeller off and be back in a second. Okay, we have the impeller off and get the first chance to look at part of the seal, the bad seal that's in there. Please note that the impeller, to spin the impeller off after you've taken a retaining nut off, is standard threads. So be counterclockwise to take it off. So I'm going to pull this seal out and we'll take a look at it. That's the seal. And okay, there's the back side of the seal. After we take this plate off, we'll take a look at it. So, okay, to remove the plate from the motor flange, we're going to use the 14 millimeter ratchet, and just go ahead and take that on off, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we removed all the bolts from the flange, and now we're going to take the faceplate off and get our first look at the seal in the motor and some telltale signs of that it's leaking, other than water on the ground. Okay, as you can see, there's all kinds of white oxidation in there, basically saying that this pump's been leaking. It's been leaking for a while. So we're going to replace the seal and put it all back together again, and hopefully it won't leak. I'll be back with you when I'm ready to put the seal in. Okay, the white part of that seal is ceramic, and that's the side that needs to face towards the pump housing. The back side, you can still see the white ceramic, but there's also a little black rubber gasket around it. So all you want to do is just push this out, okay, and take it out, and you can see that there's the ceramic plate and the rubber seal, and the black side goes towards the back, and looks like I've got a little debris in there, as well as looks like this rubber gasket's worn out, and that's probably why it was leaking. So that's what we're going to be replacing. Okay, so here we are. Got the pump all apart, pieces everywhere. Looks like a big job, but it's really not. Gone in and cleaned the seats where the seal are going to go. It shows no debris, and cleaned up the channel where the gaskets are going to go. This is the gasket one with that. I have here a O-ring kit. This one happened to come from Leslie's. I don't know if you can see the part number for it, but that is for the Challenger 1.5 horsepower square flange motor. We have a seal kit also for the Challenger. This also came from Leslie's. I don't know if you can get a part number on that. Kind of a bad shot. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace the seal, put the faceplate back on, then we'll put the seal on the shaft, put the impeller back on, the diffuser back on, and plug it all back together. I think earlier in the video I noticed that I had told you that I had the seal, how the seal were put together, which is the ceramic to the metal part. That's actually wrong, and I think that's why my seal failed. It's supposed to have the rubber part facing the ceramic part, so it looks like that when they're all together. So we'll install it the right way this time. We'll see what happens. Thanks. Okay, so what I did was I took a little bit of this spa and pool gasket lube onto a Q-tip, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and put it on the inside of where that internal ceramic part of the seal is going to go. We're going to lube that up really good. We do not want to get grease on this white part of the ceramic. You do not want grease on that. So I'm going to put it on the housing instead. Sorry for the camera work, it's hard to do one-handed. And put an amount on that. Put that seal in there, and I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so now we're going to take our new seal, pull it out of the box. being careful not to touch that new white ceramic. We'll end up cleaning it up before we put it all together anyway. So we're going to put the rubber side down in there. And I have to put the camera down for this, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we got that seal all pushed down. I'm going to take a fresh Q-tip, nothing on it, and I'm just going to make sure I didn't get any lube on the seal, and probably get a little alcohol, put it on here, and make sure I got that all cleaned off really well. No debris, no grease on the ceramic, white ceramic part. Okay, now that we got that faceplate with the bearing all seated in there properly, all the way into the back, as you can see, pressed all the way in, I'm going to be replacing that back onto the pump motor plate. Now, whenever you're doing something like this and you've got 4 bolts on a plate that you're going to be securing on there, you want to use a cross pattern to tighten. So you want to go hand tighten it first, then go from this bolt to this bolt to this bolt to this bolt, doing about a turn, maybe a quarter turn, half turn, and just secure it up there nice, square and tight, so it doesn't warp it or crack it or break it. They don't have to be, like my son would say, RAT, which would be real blank tight. They just need to be tight enough to hold it on the plate. The last thing you want to do is go crack this thing because you've over tightened it. It'll cost you a fortune to replace. So I'm going to get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to put the brand new spring-loaded shaft seal on the inside, which is taking it and putting it right on here. Again, black side, not the metal side, towards the ceramic, and that's what it'll look like when it's in. And now we're going to spin on the impeller. Again, you can use, this is regular standard threads, and you can use a wrench to hold the shaft in the back. So we'll get that done and we'll be right back. Okay, we got the impeller back on, and remember that's standard threads, so clockwise to tighten. You'll just want to tighten that hand tight. You do not want to put a wrench on the back and tighten it down so tight. You'll never get it back off again if you have to, or you might crack that impeller, and they're rather expensive. So now I'm going to, don't forget, if yours has a locking set screw that goes right in the center here, you'll want to make sure that you put that back in, and it is reverse thread. So I'll get that done, be right back. Okay, so here we are. Got the pump all put back together again. We just reversed the process that we used to take it out, and we got it all back together. And one thing you want to do when you're doing this, make sure that this band around the two housing, the faceplate and the pump housing, is good and tight. And also make sure that you reattach the grounding strap. That's very important. That's a safety issue. So we've got it all back together again. We're going to fire it back up and see if we fix the leak. Here we go. We got the grounding strap back on. Everything's back together again. Turned all the breakers on. And we're going to fire it up. Before I do that though, I had loosened this up to release some of the pressure. You better tighten it down before water goes everywhere. So now we're ready. Nothing caught on fire, nothing sparked. It's always a good sign. It's pulling water in, that's a good sign. It's taking a minute. I don't see any immediate evidence of water gushing everywhere, but it does look like I have a drip on this housing here for the backwash valve, so that's another thing I get to fix. But it appears that at least the water issue for the pump the water issue for the pump seems to be repaired. So thanks a lot. Don't forget to, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up button, and I'll be making more videos about this kind of stuff. So if you're interested, please subscribe. Thanks.